All right, well, we have about 4 minutes after the hour, so why don't we get started today? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Jim St. Ledger, coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona in the US. I appreciate everybody joining us here today. It's been a long, challenging year for all of us, but it's great to be back together with the DPDK community. I'm sure most of you have spent the past year. March 15th marked our 1-year anniversary of the World Health Organization declaring us to all be in a global pandemic. This is one of those times and events in history that we'll all look back on a few years from now and just reflect on how it went, what we were doing, how we lived our lives, and how the pandemic changed our lives. The one thing that I personally am very, very grateful for is communities like the DPDK community. Everyone has stayed together, continue to work on the project, continue to deliver on their code and commits, continue to review patches and contribute to the community as if nothing else happened. It's really been a fantastic thing to see as we've all worked through this past year. I also hope now that vaccines are hopefully starting to roll out where you're at. If not, I hope that comes soon. And I hope that shortly here, things will start getting back to normal. So we'll see if that happens here. Please hang in there, continue to take care of yourself and your family going forward. I want to walk through just a few slides to talk about the platform and then a few updates on DPDK project before we really kick off the day. So first, I just want to remind folks, we adhere to a strong code of conduct for all of our events. Really what that means is just keep doing what this community has always done. Respect everyone who's here, be nice to people, be professional, and recognize everybody else. I do want to encourage folks to engage through the platform, and that includes the chat tool and a few other features in here. If you did have a chance to take a look at the attendee guide that was sent out in advance, this screen is what you would have seen. And I'll just point out a few things for you on this screen. Give me one moment here. What you'll see in the top left side here are the reception is where you started when you joined today. The sessions icon on the left-hand side is going to show you the different sessions that come up throughout the day. You'll have to join each new session throughout the day. So for example, right now we're in the kickoff session of the introductory remarks that I'm leading, and then you'll move to the next session towards the end when I finish my time. Later on in the day, and I'll talk about this when we go through the agenda in a few minutes, we will have an opportunity to do some networking. And this is where you do have a great opportunity to chat with some of your peers here directly and engage them. On the far right-hand side, there's 3 other areas here, and let me show you a little more detail on this. So the first is chat, and hopefully some of you have found that already. If you do find the chat, please jump in the chat and say, hey, I'm here, I found it. And let us know that that's working for you. Throughout the session today, we are going to be running a few polls, and we'll see what kind of answers we get from the audience on these various polls here. So when those show up on your screen in the polls tab, you'll see a little mark next to polls telling poll. You can get a sense of who here today. One second here, sorry about that. Who are the folks that are here today and what are the things that they're doing? Go along, and if you're interested, you can, looks like my audio may have frozen for a moment. If you have translation with this tool. So on your main page, if you scroll down, or if you look in the chat, the different options for languages that you can choose input, whether that's English or Chinese, depending on the session, and then the output of that in a live transcription translated through the Wordly tool onto your screen. What you'll have to do to be able to use it is resize the windows just a little bit. On one side of it, you get the Wordly app showing, and on the other side of it, you get your main screen so you can watch the video. So hopefully that'll work out for you. If you need to use it, please do that now and take a moment and get that working. Okay, I talked earlier about networking opportunities. Hold on, I see a note from Rachel. Lots of activity. Oh, Rachel's teaching me what I'm missing here, I think. Okay, yeah, there we go, session chat. Okay, my bad. All right, so I am seeing all the folks in here that have joined from all over the world, folks from Tokyo, folks from Beijing, folks from Wuhan. Let's see where else, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Vietnam, Korea, Portland, Oregon. Yipeng Wang, you are staying up late. It's great to see everybody here. All right, Laurent from France. So it's great to see everybody here. Thanks for that. Rachel, thanks for the pointer too. I was on the event chat, not the session chat. Okay, so let me get back to my slides. So during the break, you'll see an opportunity for networking. And when we have a break, please jump in the networking mark on the left-hand side and click chat. And you'll see on there, and then it'll just connect you up with another individual. Oh, I turn this off now. Let's see. I don't think I turned anything off. Okay, so I want to jump in and just talk briefly about how this community has really stayed together over the past year. I've been very impressed by it. If you think back to our 2011 release, we yet again raised the bar for the community. It was the single largest release this community has ever had. And I'd like to applaud everybody for the work and contributions they put into there. If you had commits in the 2011 release, drop your name into the chat and put down 2011 yes or something like that and let us know how it went. We had over 214 people from the community contribute to this release. It was huge. We had a lot of features around networking, crypto, and many others. Those are a couple of common areas we always see releases. One other thing I did want to highlight that I'm very appreciative of is some changes we made in the 2011 release. So as you may know, it's our long-term stable release, or LTS, and in that release, that's when we can do changes that impact the API and ABI. And there's been work happening in many open source communities to try to change what's called offensive language to more inclusive language, terms like master slave, terms like whitelist, blacklist. And this community really stepped up, took it head on and said, hey, we need to get this changed in our 2011 release. They changed master slave to main and worker, and they changed whitelist, blacklist to allow list and block list. I'm very appreciative of everyone who helped contribute to that and worked on that. The other thing, if you're interested in more work there, there's a new community starting called inclusivenaming.org that's trying to drive these kind of changes in many other projects as well. So take a look at that. Of course, we didn't stop there. We, since after 2011 came out, started working on 2102, our first release this year. Our February release is historically a smaller release because it's over that time period of we're finishing up the prior year and then working into the new year. But we still had 140 different contributors, 34 of which are brand new first-time contributors. So our community really, really continues to grow overall. And I want to thank all of you for that. It's great to see. Our end users, of course, keep growing as well. I think almost without exception across the world, communication service providers and cloud service providers and many, many others are out using DPDK today. I'm sure many of the folks that are on this call here today, the companies you work for are using it. If you are a DPDK end user, we'd love to hear from you. Our marketing team likes to do blog posts and different stories from end users. So if you are a DPDK end user, please reach out to myself or some of the others in the community that you may know and let us know. We would love to have you contribute part of your story on why you're using DPDK, how you're using it, and things we might be able to do to improve it. In September of last year, it marked our 10-year anniversary. And I did want to share this because our last event for the community was in September of last year, our virtual event on September 22nd, 23rd. And if you didn't have a chance to join that session, I did want to thank you for being part of this community. 10 years is a very long time for an open source project community, and this community is doing nothing but growing stronger and stronger every year. So thank you for all the work and help you've given us, and thank you for your continued support for the DPDK project. I would also just like to remind folks of my good friend and colleague, Venki Venkatesan, who unfortunately passed away a few years ago. Venki is the father of DPDK, and every time I think about him and what he's built, I'm sure it makes his family extremely proud to know what kind of impact he's had through his invention and building and creating this community overall. So Venki, we miss you. We are hoping to have 2 more DPDK events this year. So the first one we know will be virtual, and we're aiming for the summer time frame. And we'll do this based out of DPDK North America. So the time frame, we will probably still look for a time frame that tries to work for most folks around the globe, as we've done for this event to some degree and the September event last year. And then we're hoping that come the end of the year, we'll be able to get together in person. I know from my friends in China that they're already getting together in person, and they set the bar for what the rest of us aspire to do once we get this pandemic under control. So mark your calendars for the summer to join us virtually, and let's all hope that towards the end of the year, we can get together somewhere in person. That in-person event, we haven't picked a specific location yet. It's likely to be somewhere in the European Middle East area there. So stay tuned. If you ever need to figure out what's going on, you can check the dpdk.org/events page, or if you're subscribing to the developer mailing list or the announce mailing list, we also let folks know what's happening there. These events only happen because people step up and volunteer their time. And I'd just like to shout out 3 different groups of folks. So first, to make the CFP happen, our tech board always steps up, and then a few others from the community, Xiaoyan, Shan, and Jokul have also stepped up to help out. So thank you to all of you. The event planners, of course, our fantastic team from the Linux Foundation. And I think I mistakenly left Emily's name off. My apologies, Emily. Jill and Trishan that do a lot of planning work, Rachel and Emily that are here with us today, of course, Xian and Xiaoyan who've helped us bring everything together. And lastly, our speakers. We have a variety of speakers from a variety of different companies, and I'll talk about their sessions here in a minute, but we couldn't put this event together without all of you participating and contributing. So again, thank you. I do want to remind folks, we are on social media. So there's a WeChat channel if you're in China. It's in fact a joint channel that my friends at Intel run between DPDK and SPDK, the Storage Performance Dev Kit. And we're also on Twitter. There's DPDK project on Twitter. So please do get engaged via our social channels. We always love to hear from you, hear your stories, and that's another way you could reach out if you're an end user with some story you'd like to share with us as well. Over today and tomorrow, we're going to have 10 sessions. We'll do 5 sessions each day. There's a wide range of topics here and a wide range of speakers, and speakers coming from several different locations as well. So I thank you for being here today, and I want to encourage you to engage these sessions and get as much out of it as you possibly can. If there are any questions, I'll take a look at the chat session here. Hopefully that worked out for folks. Hopefully everyone has had a minute to click on the polls and provide some answers to the polls that Emily's been posting up for us, so we can get a few ideas from folks and where things are going next. So let's see. So if you do have any questions, we have about 1 minute left before you'll need to click on that left sessions box and then join the next session. Our first session today will be from Ant Group, Alibaba's financial group. Zhilong Zhou is going to talk about dynamic mempool. So with that, I think I'm going to stop now. It was great seeing all you folks in the chat. I really appreciate it. Appreciate everyone who stepped up to speak and volunteer to make this event happen. And please do join everyone in the next session. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you soon, I hope. Take care.